Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, the wait is over. Biden, Mr. Biden from the Rose Garden, President of the United States, has done it. He has finally banished the dreaded ghost gun. No, he hasn't. What he did do is come out with a new rule which affects ghost guns, air quotes. It also affects personal-made firearms. It affects suppressors, and more importantly, they redefined frames and receivers, and they added a few little nuances to electronic record keeping, which is a bit of a situation. For the point of this video, to keep it short and concise, I'm going to give you a high level of what they did with the personal-made firearms, or what they call ghost guns, because this is the main part what they did here. They also nominated a new ATF director, who is pretty much milquetoast across the board because they need and beg to get him nominated and confirmed. But right now, I'm going to do all sorts of videos going forward about the ATF director, the suppressor changes, the receiver changes, the electronic record stuff that they changed. But right now, I'm going to show you what the mainstream media is reporting, how Biden banished the dreaded ghost gun. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Make sure you are subscribed so you can get all those videos. So we stay in the know and we are ready for this fight in November. But right now, let's get it. I got to talk to you about these ghost gun regulations they just came out with. Amid rise in gun violence, Biden unveils basic common sense regulation targeting ghost guns. Now, like I said, it's not all he did, but this is the main thing of it. Suppressors, they changed the way the serial numbers had to be. Frames and receivers, they added a few difference of language, but the ATF really requires electronic or paper records forever now at dealers of FFLs. Like I said, I'm focused on ghost guns, but that's kind of the snippet. All right. Washington. Calling them basic common sense, President Joe Biden took steps Monday to rein in the use of untraceable firearms known as ghost guns that law enforcement officers said turn up frequently at crime scenes. First of all, by those own officers' statistics, it's like 1 to 2% actually have ghost guns or untraceable firearms, which could also include serial numbers being ground off. It's not going to do a whole lot, but at least they can say they did something. Please vote for me, because that's a lot about what this was. All right. The rules, which have been in the works for nearly a year, will clarify that the unfinished parts sold in the gun kits, such as the frame of a handgun or the receiver of a long gun, will qualify as firearms under federal law. Essentially, they changed the definition of a kit from a non-firearm to a firearm. It now has to be serialized and sold as such. All right, so now this piece right here is where they're breaking it down as simply as they can to people who don't understand the gun industry. Commercial manufacturers of the kits will have to be licensed and must add serial numbers on the kit's frame or receiver. Commercial sellers of the kits will have to become licensed and will be required to run background checks on potential buyers before a sale, just like they must do with commercially made firearms. Pause. Do you guys happen to remember every talking point they've said over the last, 10, 15 years from a gun controller perspective that we don't have background checks, we need background checks? Everyone is 90% on board in the United States for universal background checks, common sense background checks. Well, when the shoe's on the other foot and they're basically making non-firearms into firearms, now, it's background checks, just like every other commercial sale. Just something I noticed. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, just to remind you. Gun control advocates praise the regulations. Well, of course they did. Quote, ghost guns look like a gun. They shoot like a gun, and they kill like a gun. But up until now, they haven't been regulated like a gun. Said John Feinblatt, the man who all media has on speed dial for a good quote in a gun control article. President of Everytown for Gun Safety, which pushes for gun control and against gun violence. Feinblatt applauded the administration. It's funny, like 2-3 weeks ago, he was hating on the administration hard because they weren't doing what he wanted. But he got what he wanted, so now he's applauding them. Quote, for doubling down on its commitment to gun safety by taking actions to rein in ghost guns and nominating an ATF director who will end its culture of complicity with the gun industry. Okay, like I said earlier in the intro, the ATF director guy, the milquetoast guy, the Biden administration is praying gets through, or doing whatever they do to whoever they do, he's a different video. Right now, I'm only going to show you what they did with ghost guns and how they're basically changing that part of the industry, okay? In this last one, this is really important in how it affects you if you have a personally made firearm, or what they call a ghost gun. The regulations include steps to put serial numbers on ghost guns already in circulation. Now that's meant to scare you. Here's what they actually have to do in this rule. The Justice Department will require licensed dealers and gunsmiths taking any unserialized firearm into inventory to add a serial number to that weapon. So if you have one in your possession, that's fine. If you transfer it to a gunsmith or you transfer it to a gun shop or you sell it to a gun shop, they're required to serialize it. That's that. It's not saying they're going to come to your door and make you serialize something. It's saying if you transfer it, it has to be serialized. That's it. Like I said, I'm going to go further. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel with that bell on because you know that pesky algorithm likes to get in the way of you and I communicating. And every time something changes and I look at the AR-15 receivers, I look at the new ATF director, I look at the electronic records that were banned, or excuse me, had to be deleted after 20 years, now they're indefinitely held. All those things, they will be coming up in short order. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.